Hello again and welcome to another bearing installation video featuring Boca bearings. Today I'm going to be installing a set of high-speed bearings into my Enya 46 4-cycle engine. So without any further delay, let's get right to the table and do this. Okay, on the table I've got all the parts and equipment laid out that I'm going to need to do this bearing installation. The first thing I got here is a bottle of Lightning Lube Road Power from Boca, and I will be using this to lubricate the outside surfaces of the bearings and then the inner areas of the crankshaft or crankcase of the engine to facilitate installation. I've got a light hammer, piece of wood, and a short socket extension just to act as a drive. I've got a small slotted screwdriver here that I'm going to use to remove one of the shields on the main bearing for the crankshaft. And so this engine, the Enya 46 4-cycle engine, requires 4 bearings. So I've got 2 different Boca bearing packs, and I'll talk about those in a minute. But the 2 in this pack here go in the timing case. One goes in the timing case in this area here. It's a very, very small bearing. And then the other goes on the timing shaft. And what I'll do is I'll slide that bearing into place, and then that gets inserted into the crankcase itself here. So that's why I've got this wood dowel. That perfectly fits the bearing I'm going to be installing, so it'll give me the ability to perfectly tap that into place. Next, obviously, is the crankcase. And the only bearing that actually goes in this crankcase is the one that goes on the timing shaft. Because this is a 2-piece design, the crankcase is a 2-piece design. Here's the front housing. The rear bearing goes here when it's on the crankshaft, and then of course the front bearing goes here. So that's what I've got here. Over here I've got a bench vise that will just hold parts in place so that I can tap the bearings in. I've got a heat resistant glove because I'm going to be using a heat gun to heat the aluminum up to help it expand and accept the bearings better. And of course I also have the sets of Boca bearings for this. So this set here is for the timing cover and camshaft, and these part numbers will be displayed not only on the screen but also in the video description, so you can reference them and go order them for your engine. So this is a CSK001 kit, and as you can see it has 2 rather small bearings that I'll be installing. This kit number is a ENK029RSHS. So for this engine, this application, I chose the rubber sealed high-speed bearings from Boca. That's the part number there. So the next thing we're going to do is open up the kits, lubricate the parts, and start installing the bearings into the engine. Okay, I've got the bearings out of the packages here and still laid out. I think the first thing I'm going to do is remove this last metal shield on this rear bearing. So anytime you have an engine and one of these glow engines for an aircraft, it's always best to have both sides of the main bearing open. Now this kit happened to come with a steel retainer, so I'm just going to use this little screwdriver to pop this out very gently. Now this will pretty much destroy. You can't put this shield back in place once you've done that, because now with the rubber sealed bearings you can easily just get in there and slide that rubber sealed bearing, the cover out, the seal out, so you can maintain those bearings. But this is the application where you really can't just maintain these bearings. When you take these bearings out of an engine, you're replacing them. You're not just cleaning them and putting them back in. So the other side of this bearing had a plastic retainer, and that's the part that's going to be facing towards the prop, and this will be facing towards the back. This rubber sealed front bearing has got a rubber seal on one side, and then it looks like a metal, but it's also rubber sealed on this side also. This is going to be in the front. I'm not going to do anything with that. You always want to keep a sealed bearing in the front. And then of course these little camshaft bearings are going to be open all the time because they really need to be lubricated well all the time. So here's the bearings. Shield is off. I'm just going to put a squirt of this lightning lube in here so I can use that to lubricate the outside of these bearings. And let's see here, I think I'm going to have to use my little pipette here to drop a little bit of oil in there. I'm just going to go ahead and get all these metal surfaces ready to accept the bearings. Get everything lubed up there. And of course, our crankshaft also. So I think I'm going to start with this smallest bearing here in the timing cover. So this thing is really tiny. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to move over here. Oh, I've got another camera angle. I'll show you on the other camera angle. I'm going to move the timing cover over here, heat it up slightly, and then drop this thing into place very gently and tap it into place. That one I want the balls facing outward. It's going to be very difficult to see what's happening here because it's such a small area. Started going in there a little cocked. Yeah, this wood is giving a little bit. I really wish I had a, oh, maybe I do. Maybe I have a punch that's the right size. I don't know if I do or not. Let's see if this one will work. This one should work. There we go. It's not exactly 3/8 of an inch, so I kind of had to work around the edges of the bearing to get it to go in. Looks like. Okay, there you go. The bearing looks like it's fully seated now. Let me tap it here a couple more times on this side. That's one test we can do here is throw this timing gear in here. Oh yeah, we're good. So that gave me a lot more trouble than I thought it was going to, and it's still rather warm, but I think it'll be all right to sit down there. So the next bearing, I'm just going to slide first. Just slide this on here. Now there is a stop on this that this will go up against on the shaft, so it's not going to fully seat on there. And this one's going to be one of those ones where I will probably use my magnet to help line that up, get it into place. Like that. And then we'll just drive it home like that. So what I want to do first is heat this crankcase up considerably. sure that's gonna fit in there. Okay. See if this magnet will help me out here. It's tough because the magnet's holding it and then it's also hot. Okay, so I've got it in place. Now all I gotta do is just drive it home. Okay. Yep, that's fully seated in there. So now we've got those two bearings installed. Next, I'm going to slide the main bearing onto the crankshaft. It's there. And we'll get this front bearing inserted. Now with the front bearing, what I didn't show initially was that these Enya front bearings with this detachable housing, they're actually recessed, so the bearing won't be flush with the outside edge. So it's going to have to be in there and recessed because there's a C-clip that actually goes in a groove here that holds it in place. So I had to find a socket that I'm going to use also to do the final driving in. And luckily I found one that just will get all of the outside edge of that bearing, and it fits right inside the front housing perfectly, so it'll give me the ability to drive that home. But I think initially I'm just going to heat it up and use a piece of wood to initially set that bearing. Looks like that drove almost fully home right away. There we go. And that bearing is fully seated. Now I don't want to pick it up with my bare hands because that's probably rather warm. Okay, so this front bearing is installed and it's fully recessed. And now we can go on to installing the main bearing on the crankshaft, the final bearing. So I'm just going to slide it on there. This thing is still slightly warm. Should be alright for me to just touch it and get this bearing tapped into place. And there we go. This engine is ready for reassembly now.